So, number one, fear is your oppressor, not men. Number two, everything that you have been taught, everything that you know, believe, see, feel about what it means to be a woman is backwards, which basically means it's just simply not true. That's a lot to take in because you say, well, what? What? Where do I begin as a woman to wrap my head around that statement? After all this time, after all these generations of women, my ancestors, what are you telling me? That all of that was not true? That the legacies we've been handed down aren't real? Not exactly. They were real to you. That's the thing about fear, you see. It creates a reality that you buy into, and it's real to you. Even if it's backwards, it's still real to you. Even in the truth in love, it isn't like that. In fear, it is very much like that. So no, we're not negating anything about who you are or where you've been or how you've walked or the legacy and the ancestry. We are not negating any of it. As a matter of fact, we want you to validate it. We want you to embrace it because that is the way that you are empowered then to change it. All right? Because if you push away from it in opposition to it and say, I've been told a lie, all of this, who I am, isn't real, that gets kind of crazy making. And you have no power because you're too busy being distracted about what the hell is this all about. So we're going to bypass that little spin out. And we're just going to say, yes, I embrace everything I know about what it means to be a woman. I embrace everything that I was taught. I can embrace it because it's real for me. It's what I lived. It's what my mother lived, my grandmother, my ancestors lived. It's the footprints that they left for me. It's how I walk. And I will embrace it. All right. That's the first thing. We embrace it. We just say, yep, this is what our experience has been. Why do we do that if it's not real? Because, as I said, it was real. Because it's what we have. It's what you have. And I am already overly identifying with you. But it is what is. And we embrace it so that we can then say, okay, I embrace it because then I can take responsibility for everything that I've done in it. How I've shown up, how I've responded, how I've acted, how I've reacted, however clear or unclear it has been, it is mine. And I take responsibility for my actions and my behavior and my beliefs. Okay? So we accept it as real. We're not saying it's true, but it's real. The journey of a woman, of the female on your planet. I accept full responsibility for all my beliefs about it and how I have behaved, etc. All right? Because now you have power. You don't fight a thing if you want to be empowered to change it. You embrace it and then you change it because now it is yours. When you push away from something and you oppose it and you make it a part of someone else's responsibility, when you, in a way, become a victim, when you push off against it and say, oh, that was done to me by fear. Fear did that to me. Now you're right where fear wants you. You haven't done anything. It's like being in a rubber band. You're just pulling back, but you'll pop right in again because you have no power, and fear knows it. Blame fear forever. Fear doesn't care. Yes, please pour on the blame. It just means I still have you, because now you blame me, and now you're just in one other arena of one of the seat in my arena. It just means, you're my victim now. Works for me. You see, you don't want to take that stance, blaming fear. That's not how you exit any situation or any condition, by blaming it, because then you become its victim and you're deeper in it than you were before. So you say, okay, yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm in fear. I have seen myself through the lens of fear as a woman. And I understand that it really doesn't seem right. It doesn't really work. But honestly, this is what I have. Whether it negates me or makes me less than or belittles me or makes me small and irrelevant, or if it questions my rights and my intelligence, all of these things, although all of that exists, it doesn't feel right, but this is what I have. So I embrace it. Okay? So now that we've embraced it and we accept responsibility for everything we've done in it, how do you respond to being less than? How did I respond to being small? How did I respond to being sexualized and objectified? What did I do? Did I just say yes? Mostly, that's what I do. Why do I do it? Because that's the option I have. For a time, I can quote unquote rebel and say no. But the only issue with the rebellious part is I don't have anywhere to go after that. So I don't really get to leave it. I just get to stall. I just get to have what then is considered an emotional temper tantrum. So all my behaviors are covered. I can resist, I can rebel, but there's no real advantage in that. It just buys me a little time to feel really uncomfortable and upset and enraged at times about how in the heck did I get into this? Have you ever thought of that, women? Really, when you step back even from the emotional response to the condition of being a woman on your planet, do you ever just wonder, how did this happen? Because if it's how it really is, I wouldn't be having these thoughts. I wouldn't be having these feelings. If this was really working for me, and therefore working for everyone else, the men, the children, the world, I would not be sitting here or standing here thinking, what the hell is going on? I don't feel. Something in me says, this is not my story. I didn't sign up for this. It galls me to no end so deeply to think that I am being so terribly misrepresented. And not only that, I am colluding in the misrepresentation. I am showing up supporting this way of treating me as if it is the truth. And something inside of me tells me each and every day, 30, 40, 50 times a day, this can't be right. But women have tried to say that. This can't be right. We want equal rights. We want equal pay. We want equality. We want the vote. We don't want to be hung or burned at the stake because we're different. How was this world designed without a safe, honoring place for us? What the hell happened? Yes, women have been saying that. And you notice that when they step out, it's always in opposition to basically men because of the paternalistic nature of your planetary reality and fear. another imbalance which we will address later. This situation, this design, of course, you look and say, this is our issue, this is our problem. We have been pushing up against this, up against the men, up against the paternalistic reality. And as I said earlier, it's like being in a rubber band. Yes, you can pull back, but you're going to pop right into it again, and not very much will have changed. All right? And that's what you see. And that's happened in different realities in your situation as human beings, not just a female one, and we'll get to that too, where real change has not happened. Now, the good news is that many of you know that change is gonna come. It's gonna come. It's got to come. Because there's vision, belief, understanding of the necessity for change in order for the human race to ever heal, grow, evolve. That is a fixed notion, idea, belief in the minds of many human beings. Not all, but more and more as you awaken, you realize something has to give here. We simply cannot go anywhere, move forward in any way like this. And we can no longer be willing to accept the illusion of change. We've spent decades going down that road, only to stand up with all the veils dropping and realize didn't walk that far. All the things that we work so hard to change, the beliefs, the attitudes, and therefore the actions of human beings, individually and together, it hasn't changed at all. But do not be devastated by that reality, because the good news is that you are ripe for change.